While players continue to enjoy their time off during the lockout, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Mike Vick spent his afternoon on Capitol Hill speaking out against animal cruelty. Player reps from all 32 NFL teams just arrived in Washington, D.C. in hopes of signing off on a new collective bargaining agreement. A shocking day in Washington leads to a mistrial in the Roger Clemens perjury trial. For the first time in nearly a year, Steven Strasburg gets set to take the mound here in Hagerstown. I think that is a major mistake by the Carolina Panthers. There are just far too many question marks surrounding Cam Newton to justify taking him with the #1 overall selection. So after putting in all of the hard work and training, the time had finally come for Amanda Head to step out of the cage and into the ring. With record heat waves throughout central New York, we'll tell you if the heat down in Dallas pushed the Mavericks to the brink of elimination. Coming up next in sports. Roger Clemens' career rocketed from Austin to Major League stardom, and now into a World Series of trouble in federal court. He and his legal team arrived to make his innocence pitch and pick a jury to prove he didn't lie to Congress.
Cross the driveway.
Fans are disappointed, disillusioned, and disgusted, both with Clemens and other players charged with cheating.
I think it's a distraction from a lot of things that are more important.
I mean, it's sad to see because it's a great game and it's it's our pastime. But I mean, people won't do anything to win.
The sports almanacs should be gigantic blank pages from 1985 till 2000.
The Roger Clemens perjury trial is expected to last 4 to 6 weeks. Reporting from outside the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., Mike Lederer for WeAreAustin.com. Football is finally back. Representatives from both the NFL and Players Association came to Washington on Monday to bring the 132-day work stoppage to an end. Austin's own Brandon Eyrich waited outside the NFLPA to see one thing.
I was hoping to see the commissioner say the lockout is over, and that's something I'll be remember for the rest of my life.
And after waiting for hours, Brandon finally got his wish.
It's been a long time coming, and football's back, and that's the great news for everybody.
With the new 10-year deal, incoming rookies will only get 4-year contracts, and their salaries will be much smaller as more money will be allocated to veteran players. Additionally, any player that plays a single game in the NFL will receive lifetime health benefits. And the new deal will give the Players Association about 47% of all league revenues, a smaller percentage than before.
This is a fair deal that we're excited to present to our players. We're excited about the opportunity to get back on the field and doing, instead of being in these meeting rooms, being football meeting rooms, which I'm a big fan of.
Now that the NFL finally resolved its labor issues, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft had a little advice for the parties involved in another monetary dispute.
And I hope we gave a little lesson to the people in Washington, because the debt crisis is a lot easier to fix than this deal was. Thank you.
Mike Lederer for WeAreAustin.com. Critics call it a blood sport. Mixed martial arts, the combination of boxing, kicking, and grappling, often inside a steel cage. Lawmakers in New York and 6 other states have banned MMA competitions. Fighters can train here, but to compete, they and the fans who love it must leave the state. So with that said, what's wrong with this picture? As MMA becomes more popular, it's attracting a different demographic. A tough sport once considered men only now attracts women, like Amanda Head. She feels she belongs inside the steel cage too.
The guys are always bigger, heavier, stronger, tougher, so we have a lot to make up for. Girls want to prove they're just as tough as guys are, and we have to prove ourselves that we can hang with the boys.
So after putting in all of the hard work and training, the time had finally come for Amanda Head to step out of the cage and into the ring. Although she was knocked out in her first start, Head is already looking ahead.
Actually, I have another fight next weekend.
For women like Amanda Head, they just want an equal opportunity in this ever-growing sport. Mike Lederer for NCC News. Welcome to your NCC Sports Update. I'm Mike Lederer. King James and the rest of his talent down in South Beach are just 3 wins away from crowning themselves NBA champions. Standing in their way, the Dallas Mavericks, a group of players with a combined 135 seasons in the NBA without a title. Dirk Nowitzki battling through a torn tendon in his left middle finger. His Mavs looking to avoid an 0-2 hole to LeBron James Heat. We pick things up in the fourth, all Miami. Mario Chalmers finds Dwayne Wade in the corner for the dagger three, or at least we thought it was the dagger. Miami by 15 with 7 minutes to play. But as they have all postseason, the Mavericks would battle back. Down by just 2 with a minute remaining, Dallas on the 3-on-1 fast break. Sean Marion finds Nowitzki for the layup to tie the game. Now, coming out of the timeout on the ensuing possession, Jason Terry finds Dirk at the top of the key, and he drains the three to give the Mavericks the lead. Dallas goes on a 22-5 run in the final 6 minutes and 12 seconds of regulation. However, the Heat would respond as Mario Chalmers hits the corner three to tie the game. But it was Dirk Nowitzki's night. He scores the final 9 points for the Mavericks, including the game-winning layup, beating Chris Bosh off the dribble to give the Mavs a 95-93 lead. Dwayne Wade led Miami with 36 points, but his desperation three falls off the mark, and Dallas wins Game 2 by 2 points. The Mavs become the first team to overcome a 15-point fourth-quarter deficit in an NBA Finals game since the 1992 Chicago Bulls did it against the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, from a sport whose season is about to come to an end to a sport whose future is still in question. For the third straight week, NFL owners and players are meeting behind closed doors in an effort to bring the NFL lockout to an end. Unmediated negotiations have reached the point where both sides have brought their lawyers back into the fold in attempts to iron out a new deal. Training camps around the league are set to begin in just over a month. That's going to do it for your NCC Sports Update. I'm Mike Lederer. Thanks for watching.